Electric cars are pretty thin on the ground in Australia at the moment, but that's all about to change with this, the Renault Zoe. It's due in a couple of months. It's going to cost about 45 grand. And this, the latest version, is said to do about 400 kilometres on one charge. In the real world, more likely about 300 kilometres. It's small, it's cute, it's French, and here we are in France to give it a drive.
With more than 70,000 sold so far, the Zoe is easily Europe's biggest selling all-electric car, and it's not difficult to see why. Apart from being relatively affordable, in Australia it will undercut the BMW i3 by about 20 grand. It looks cute without being too wacky, and then there's the big battery. The lithium-ion power pack will store 41 kilowatt hours of energy, and that's good for a real-world range of 300 kilometres on a single charge.
One of the selling points of the Zoe is its practicality, and I suppose even though it's a small car, you do have full 5-seater capacity. Now in the back there's enough headroom, it's got quite a high roof. Pretty squeezy if you've got 3 people in there. I'd really say it's only good for 2 people in the back. You've got a bit of luggage space in the rear as well. It's a super mini, so you don't expect to have too much, but you can see yourself living with this day to day. As far as the electrification is concerned, it's very quiet. You get a funny humming noise, which I assume is there to warn pedestrians that you're coming along if you're in an urban environment with lots of people crossing the road. But otherwise, it's pretty normal to drive. You don't have to worry about shifting gears. It's just got a single speed, pretty much direct drive gearbox, so you stick it in drive, off you go.
The Zoe drives effortlessly thanks to the pulling power of its 68 kilowatt electric motor that means it can have a single gear ratio. Push the accelerator pedal and without noise or fanfare it whisks you into the traffic better than most small cars its size. The steering is light, and while this is no sports car handling wise, it has a nifty city car feel and a tight turning circle. With all those batteries on board, the Zoe is no lightweight at almost 1,500 kilograms, but the good news is it doesn't feel ungainly at all.
Really quite good acceleration. You don't expect that in a small car, but because it's an electric motor, you've got all that torque from very low rev. So push the pedal and you're away. You can select an economy mode if you want to, which means it doesn't use as much electricity, but you don't get as much performance either. We've been driving for more than an hour now, and the gauge is telling me I've still got 235 kilometres to go on this charge. That can take a lot of the range anxiety out of whether you're going to run out of electricity and you have to get yourself towed to the nearest power point. This particular car, it's got a lot more range than a lot that have gone before it, so you'd think it's not going to be a bad thing to drive, particularly in urban environments. Very simple inside. The driving interface is much as you'd see in a normal petrol car. You've got digital speedo in front of you, you've got ancillary gauges over here on the touchpad. Some of the plastics maybe, I don't know, a bit low rent. It's all very hard. Everything around you that you see is not exactly luxurious, but then what do you expect in a lightweight EV?
After a day of trundling around the suburbs of Paris, our Zoe still had about 200 kilometres left in its tank, so conceivably an owner could commute all week without plugging it back in, while producing no harmful tailpipe emissions. You'll have to shell out extra dollars to buy a home or office charging station, and a full recharge will take about 7.5 hours on a 7 kilowatt supply. The bad news? For the moment, Renault Australia is selling the Zoe directly to business or government fleets and not to retail customers through dealerships. But if you really want to be part of the electric future now, have an ABN handy, give them a call, and maybe you'll get lucky.